Hello and welcome. You are listening to the At Home with Ifeno podcast. This podcast is for anyone, male and female, who believes that the home is the cornerstone and foundation of a flourishing society and a better world. Here, we'll guide you through the intricate journey of building a home that's not just a physical space. Whether you are single, preparing to share your life with another, a couple cultivating a shared dream, or parents tending to the garden of their children's hearts. Every other week, we'll talk about topics like practical tips on managing family finances, creating a beautiful home, conversations on courtship, marriage, parenting, and much more. The At Home with Ifeno podcast offers a rich tapestry of inspiration and support. Join us as we explore creating homes where love resides, families thrive in wisdom, and the seeds of a brighter future are sown, just as God intended. I am your host, Ifoma Nneka Omoniyi. Hello, and welcome to At Home with Ifeno. How are we doing today? It's a beautiful day with great expectations. It's already April. Wow, the time keeps ticking, and it is what we do with the time we have today that will make all the difference. And so I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the time it is, wherever you are connecting with us globally. Thank you, my amazing listeners, for always connecting and listening. Thank you for those of us that drop a comment. If you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please just click the subscribe button, like our episode, and share with someone. You never know who you could be helping. You never know whose life you could be saving by sharing the At Home with Ifeno podcast. So how are we doing today? How is the family? How is work? How is business? Whatever you are doing today, I just want to say you are welcome. Today's topic promises to be very, very key and vital, especially in building stronger and better bonds as a family. And so I would just like to read something before I share today's topic. Since the introduction of the internet, mobile phone, and PC, Toluwalashe and his wife spend less time in face-to-face contact, even though they live under the same roof. Whenever he is at home, he is always seated in front of the laptop, browsing for top business deals on news. His wife, too, is always busy, tweeting, and spends more time with her eyes on the computer than the TV. Toluwalashe and his wife can no longer watch a film on TV together. It is no longer a shared family experience, as each of them is in his or her world with a phone or a laptop. Surfing the internet on phones or computers is making family relationships move from bad to worse. It has gone so habitual that some people take their computers and phones to bed, surfing while their partner is forced to sleep in the wake of the flickering lights of phones' pixels. Does what I just read describe any of us? Is technology drifting families apart? Our topic for today is Family First, Finding Balance in a Tech-Saturated World. Family First, Finding Balance in a Tech-Saturated World. Striking a balance between the constant pull of technology and the vital connections with our loved ones is a challenge to many of us today. Ifeno is not out of this. we are on the journey and in the process. When was the last time your family had a conversation without someone checking their phones? Have you gone out to a restaurant as a family or a group of friends and you find out that everyone is glued to their devices, either their phones, their tablets, whatever you want to call them, while waiting for their orders to be served? They instead, glue themselves, their faces to their devices, rather than having conversations face to face or sharing stories as they sit together. Don't get me wrong, dear listeners, there are benefits of technology. Easier access to information is one that we have already seen in the introduction of technology to our world today. Increased job opportunities, which has to do with working online, is a benefit of this technology we are talking about. Different learning modes and methods, learning online has been on the increase, and connecting globally with one another, just like we are doing on this podcast, is made possible through technology. So technology is not inherently bad, but it is the way we use it and how we find a balance so that it does not steal from the bonds and the love and the connections that we should have, particularly with our families. And that is why our topic says family first, finding balance in a tech-saturated world. The average person spends about 4 to 6 hours on their phones daily or mobile gadgets. Health experts recommend that we spend no longer than 2 hours a day. This excludes the time that we use on computers or even watching the television. Now, the big problem is the imbalance in our usage of technology. It is negatively affecting our communication and connection, and this begins with the family. The imbalance of the use of technology today is affecting the way we communicate our spouses, is affecting the way we connect with our children, is affecting the way we connect even with our extended loved ones, our friends, and people in general. This imbalance of technology is one that is a growing concern. My introductory reading was from an article in a newspaper that I read 2015. That is 10 years ago. I read that article in a newspaper, and it was tagged, "Is technology drifting families apart?" When I read this article 10 years ago, I never knew I was even going to make reference to it on a podcast. But this concern has grown and it has increased and is not in any way getting better looking back 10 years ago and now. So this is why I brought this topic to the fore, for us to take intentional steps to see how we can find a balance. We are not saying we should shut down our technology completely. We are not saying that we don't need it for today. That would be, we will be deceiving ourselves. But how can we make sure that this is not stealing the connections and the way we communicate with one another, especially our loved ones, beginning from our family first? The excessive use of technology has diminished the quality of in-person communication. Have you noticed that the younger generation find it difficult to have conversations with you face to face, looking at you without being distracted with their devices if they are with them? Shared experiences and meaningful conversations are essential for building strong family bonds. Even when we are physically present, family members can feel emotionally distant due to this these tech distractions. We are in the same house, spouses, and we find it difficult to look ourselves in the eye, not because we are having an argument, but to just talk, to just express ourselves, to share how our day has gone. Is becoming very, very challenging and difficult for many of us. An example of how, even when we are physically present as family members, that connection is being distracted by our tech. One of them is answering phone calls during meal times as a family. We are having maybe dinner time over the weekend as a family, and suddenly we get a phone call. Please, please, and please, as long as the father, the mother, and the children are present there, I know you might not agree with Ifeno on this, but I feel that taking that call might not be the priority then, because it could disrupt, your time together as a family. Technology is not inherently bad, like I earlier said. The key is finding a healthy balance and establishing boundaries. When we understand the impact of an imbalanced usage of technology on our family life, we as families will take steps to promote healthier tech habits and strengthen our connections. So let's go into the challenges of how this tech-saturated world is stealing from our time, stealing from our connection, stealing from our communication as a family. The first challenge has to do with what I tagged constant connectivity. Personally, when I was much younger growing up, we could only watch TV. We didn't have smartphones as at that time. We just had landline phones, But we couldn't even come on as into sit down and watch TV until it was 4 p.m. in the evening. And I think by midnight, there was no program being aired. But today, there's this constant connectivity, which is the very first challenge that I'm speaking about now. And it is that our smartphones, our tablets, our laptops, and even the TV offers endless entertainment and communication. At any time, once you turn it on, once your gadgets are on, you always find something to watch, to listen to. This constant connectivity is a challenge, and it is posing a threat to our strong family bond. But they can also create a sense, they can also create this sense of being always on, making it difficult to disconnect from work or even social media. So the first thing is that our devices are in constant connectivity, because once they are on, you will always find something that will attract you or distract you from what is priority at that time. The second challenge with our tech-saturated world is blurred boundaries. Blurred boundaries. Now, during the COVID period, there was this, arrangement by work and offices about working from home. And it has actually come to stay in many organizations till date. So working from home arrangements are not bad, but as it offers this flexibility, it tends to blur the lines. It tends to make it difficult to put that line between professional and personal life. And this is encroaching in our family time and our family life. Blurred boundaries can also be seen when children and adults alike become so engrossed on online games, streaming services, or social media, neglecting real-world interactions. So there's this challenge of knowing where to draw the line, especially when we are working from home. We are doing so many things which seem to be flexible for us, during that COVID period, a lot of people did not even know that maybe it was time to, take a break, have breakfast, have time for the family. Some of us were working and working and working, and it was telling on our well-being. It was even telling on many people's health. So this is one of the challenge that our tech-saturated world is posing on us, especially with our family. The third challenge with this issue is the impact on our communication. We have said communication is like the blood to any relationship. It's like the life to any relationship. A reduced face-to-face communication can lead to misunderstanding and a decrease in empathy. So when you are not seeing yourselves directly, you are not communicating, one-on-one, there tends to be this distance. You are not even there to see how the person you're communicating with might be feeling. Yes, you could have video calls, you could have all that. But what we are trying to say is that technology, yes, it facilitates the communication because you can connect with your loved ones. Maybe the family, we are not all together in the same location, but we should also work towards having face-to-face communications, because this technology, the impact on our communication when it is not face-to-face is hindering meaningful conversations. Like I said, you have the right not to agree with what Ifeno is saying, but these are the things that I have observed, and I feel that we need to see how we can find a balance. That is the goal of today's episode, finding that balance while we use technology, especially as a family. Now, the impact of this tech-saturated world on our children. Our children learn by observing. So as parents, if we are constantly on our devices, this is modeling an unhealthy tech habit to our children, whether we like it or not. We have found out that sometimes our children want to tell us what happened in school, how their day went, or something that is going on. And many times, many of us shut down the children because we are on our phones, because we are online, when we can see how, even if we need to continue a conversation or whatever, there are ways to, communicate with the children so that they don't begin to have negative or unhealthy tech habits, because it is what they see us as parents doing that they will imbibe. And then on the children, excessive screen time has been linked to various issues, not just in children, even in adults, but particularly in children. Children are having it difficult to sleep. They have sleep disturbances. They are going through different behavioral problems. And many children are having developmental delays because they are always on the screen. So many times we feel that whenever we give our children, their gadgets and something that will occupy them, it's a show of our love. We want them not to disturb us, but we are destroying some things that has to help in their development, has to help even in their sleeping patterns. These are issues that are becoming a growing concern, and we must find this balance. Constant connectivity, the blurred boundaries, the impact on the way we speak to one another, no empathy, we don't see that connection, and then the children are watching us because they will do what they see us model to them. So, dear listener, it's a time for us to assess how we are doing as a family as we use technology in different areas of our lives. Now, in order to find this balance, there are some strategies that I have put down here and I would like to share with us. So, strategies in order for our families to be prioritized, in order for our families to be first, so that despite, the bombarding of information and all that is going on in the tech world, our families will not suffer, that connection that is important. The first thing is that we should set healthy boundaries. We need to set healthy boundaries. Now, create clear boundaries between your work life and your personal life, especially for those of us that are working from home. We need to establish rules for screen time, both for the children and for the adults. So this setting of boundaries is going to help us find that balance. We need to know when it is work time and we need to know when it is family time, especially for those of us that work from home. 2, establish tech-free zones and times. Many of us have TV screens in all our rooms at home. You know, in our days when we're growing up, the TV was basically in the living room and everybody came there together to watch. Now we have children have their own TV. Some parents also put TV in the children's room. There are all sorts of things. Beyond the TV, some children, you know, sleep with phones in their rooms. We need to establish tech-free, you know, times and zones. So we need to designate specific areas of our homes, such as the dining table and our bedrooms. Those are the 2 areas that I would encourage us to see how we can establish this strategy for prioritizing our family time and for a healthy family. So let our rooms and the dining table be the areas where they are tech-free zones, and during the time we are in those places. Let us also set dedicated times for family activities beyond always being on the screen. So we can have game nights together, playing board games, going outside of our homes, you know, do a sport together. We could play table tennis, we could play football together as a family. We could do something different that does not cause us to be glued to our screen, during which all these devices will be turned off or put away. So this is another strategy. The first one I said is set healthy boundaries. The second one is establish tech-free zones and times in your rooms, on the dining table, no phones while we eat as a family. That is one strategy that could help us. 3, prioritize face-to-face interactions. Let us make that conscious effort as a family to engage in meaningful conversations with our family members. It might not be easy all the time, but as much as we can, let's plan activities that will encourage us to interact with each other and we get to know ourselves better, rather than always having to just talk on the phone and no time for face-to-face interactions. 4, model healthy tech habits. I just said that. As parents, we are to lead by example. We are to lead by example by putting away devices during family time and engaging in real-world activities. We must be mindful of our tech usage as parents and strive to model these healthy habits for our children. If this is the only strategy you will take note of today, please, let's take it seriously. Let us be the role model of how tech devices should be used in our homes. And the 5th one is digital detox. Digital detox. So consider a periodic digital detox where the whole family takes a break from technology for a whole day maybe, or even a weekend. This can help to reset habits and reconnect with each other. I know that people are going to fight me with this one. They'll be like, Ifeno, for a whole day, my phone, please, my business is on that phone. If I don't do that business, there is no money even for the house. I get it. But look for how you can minimize this use of tech. You need to withdraw, you need to take time out beyond using these devices so that they don't harm us. Rather, they are used to enhance our life as a family. So in today's tech-driven world, it's easy for families to get caught up in the digital whirlwind. However, many families are consciously making efforts to prioritize quality time together, even amidst the distractions of technology. Here are a few relatable stories. So I want to read about 3 stories of 3 different families and what they did in order to have a balance or find a balance in the usage of tech so that their families do not suffer. So the first family is known as the Millers family. The Millers, Tech-Free Tuesdays. The Millers is a family of 5, and they found themselves constantly glued to their screens, even during dinner time. To combat this, they implemented tech-free Tuesdays. So they decided that on Tuesdays, it will be a tech-free day as a family. Every Tuesday evening, all devices are put away for a few hours. So you see, this one is not for the whole day, but a few hours in the evening. They use this time to play board games. So when you are trying to, bring up a new habit, something must replace it. So this is what the Millers family decided to do on Tuesday evenings. As they put away their devices for a few hours, maybe for 3 hours, or immediately they get back from work and school, everybody turns in their phone in a basket or somewhere, and no one is answering any call. As long as the parents are there, the couple is there, and their children are there, they are the most important people to themselves as at this time. So turn off your phones or put it on silent mode if you want to return your calls, and see how this can help. So this family, used the time of putting their phones away to play board games. They used the time to cook together, or they just simply talked and connected. Initially, it was challenging. New habits are usually tough to form, but they are possible. It was challenging, especially for the teenagers, but over time, they started looking forward to it. They rediscovered the joy of face-to-face interaction and the value of undivided attention. Face-to-face interaction and the value of undivided attention. The second family, I would like to share their story of how they found that balance is the Lee's family, and theirs was tagged screen time limits. Now, the Lee's family is made up of parents of young children, and the parents of this family were so concerned about the amount of time their children were spending in front of screens. They implemented screen time limits for their children. So they set clear rules about when and for how long the children could use their devices. They also engaged and encouraged in alternative activities like reading, playing outside, and engaging in creative hobbies. This helped the children develop healthier habits and reduce their reliance on technology for entertainment. So this Lee's family had children that were not yet teenagers from what we have just shared, and they found out that technology was now primarily their way of relaxing and entertaining, especially for the children. So they decided that they were going to have screen time limits. Maybe they were going to say once it is 2 hours for a particular day, that will be the end of the usage of your devices. And then they encourage them to come out to play games outside, to encourage them to develop the habit of reading. So this was another way another family tackled the issue of our tech-saturated world. And then the last family I would like to share what they did is the Smiths. The Smiths family, they had what we call family movie nights. Now, the Smiths is a family of 4. They found that their movie nights were often interrupted by phone notifications and social media updates. To address this, they implemented a no phone policy during their family movie night. Everyone puts their phones away and focuses on the movie. This simple rule has made a significant difference in their movie night experience. They now enjoy the movies that they watch together without distractions and have meaningful discussions afterwards. These stories that we have just shared highlight how families are taking proactive steps to prioritize time together in a tech-saturated world. Dear listener, what strategy are you going to take to prioritize your family time together despite using technology? What strategy? A family decided to limit screen time. Another family decided that they would do without, their phones or their gadgets for a particular time. Another family decided that, okay, during their movie nights, they will not be distracted by their phones and notifications that could be disruptive to their time together. We need to find this balance. We need to take actual steps. If not, time will pass. Our children in particular would grow so fast, leave our homes, and we lost the time, and we would have lost the time we should have spent together as a family. The time to bond, the time to understand ourselves, and even as a couple, you will find out that over time, you tend to now look like strangers that have been living together because we have been consumed by our gadgets and our devices. In closing, to prioritize family first in our tech-driven world, I want us to know that it is not completely about abandoning technology. It isn't about leaving technology out of our lives, because it is here and it is here to stay. It's about cultivating a mindful and balanced approach. It's a continuous effort that requires 3 things. 1, awareness. We need to be aware and recognize the potential pitfalls of excessive tech use. 2, intentionality. We need to make conscious choices about how and when we use technology. And 3, adaptability. Being willing to adjust our habits as needed. So I'll take that again. We need to be aware of technology and how to use it. We need to be intentional of the time we spend with technology, and we need to be adaptable. We need to be willing to adjust our habits as needed. Ultimately, the goal is for us to create a home environment where connection, empathy, and genuine interactions thrive, even amidst the digital noise. Let's find the balance as we prioritize our family first. Thanks for joining us this week on the At Home with Ifeno podcast. Check us out on Instagram at Ifeno17 and on YouTube at Home with Ifeno podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch every new episode and leave us a comment so we can build a strong community. See you in 2 weeks' time.